In the summer of 2016, Michael, a 27-year-old IT professional, became obsessed with the dark web. It started innocently enough, just a curiosity about the hidden corners of the internet. But what he found was far more sinister than he could have ever imagined. Michael had always been fascinated by cryptography and the idea of an untraceable internet. He was drawn to the idea that somewhere out there, people were conducting secret transactions, sharing forbidden knowledge, and trading in things that the surface web could never allow. So, one night, with his curiosity piqued, he installed Tor, the gateway to the dark web, and began his descent into the digital underworld. At first, it was the typical stuff: shady marketplaces selling illegal drugs, counterfeit money, and stolen credit cards. But Michael was more interested in the darker corners, where rumors of human trafficking, hitmen for hire, and black market organs circulated. He knew these stories were mostly urban legends, but the thrill of exploring the unknown was too great to resist. After weeks of browsing, Michael stumbled upon a forum that was different from the rest. It wasn't just about illegal transactions, it was about something much darker. The site was called the Shadow Market, and it advertised itself as a place to buy and sell untraceable experiences. Intrigued, Michael created an account using a pseudonym and began to explore the offerings. The posts on the Shadow Market were cryptic and disturbing. One thread caught his eye: live streams of the forgotten. The description was vague, promising access to live-streamed events that no one else would dare to witness. The cost was steep, 0.5 Bitcoin, which at the time was nearly $300. But Michael was hooked, his curiosity overpowering his better judgment. He made the payment. A few hours later, Michael received a message with a link and a warning: "What you see cannot be unseen. Proceed at your own risk." That night, with the lights off and headphones on, Michael clicked the link. The screen went black for a few seconds, before a live stream appeared. It was a grainy, night vision feed of what seemed to be an abandoned warehouse. The camera was shaky, as if the person filming was nervous or in a hurry. For a few minutes, nothing happened, just the eerie silence of the empty building. Then, the camera panned to a small room at the end of the hallway. Inside was a chair, and on that chair was a man, bound and gagged. Michael's heart began to race. The man looked terrified, his eyes wide with panic as he struggled against his restraints. The chat next to the stream started to fill with messages from other viewers. Some were making bets on what would happen next, while others were encouraging the unseen person behind the camera. Suddenly, the door to the room opened, and a figure in a black hood entered. The figure approached the man, who was now frantically trying to free himself. Michael felt a sickening dread wash over him as the hooded figure produced a long, serrated knife. What happened next was too horrific for Michael to process. The hooded figure began to methodically torture the man, while the chat exploded with cheers and suggestions. Michael wanted to look away, to close the stream and pretend this had never happened, but he was paralyzed by fear and shock. He couldn't move, couldn't scream, he could only watch. After what felt like an eternity, the man on the chair stopped moving. The figure in the hood turned to the camera and slowly lifted it, revealing a face obscured by the hood, but with piercing eyes that seemed to stare directly at Michael through the screen. The figure then whispered something that sent chills down Michael's spine: "You're next." The stream cut off, leaving Michael alone in the darkness, his heart pounding. He quickly closed his laptop, but the damage was done. For days, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched, that someone or something had followed him out of the dark web. A week later, Michael received a package at his door. There was no return address. Inside was a single item, a USB drive. Terrified, he plugged it into an old laptop, isolating it from his network. The drive contained only one file, a video. With trembling hands, Michael played the video. It was footage of himself, sitting at his computer, watching the very live stream that had haunted his nights. The camera had been placed directly behind him, and in the video, as he watched the horrors unfold on his screen, a dark figure slowly emerged from the shadows behind him, inching closer and closer until the video abruptly ended. Michael never reported the incident to the police. He quit his job, moved to another city, and disconnected from the internet entirely. But no matter how far he ran, he could never escape the feeling that the eyes from that stream were still watching, waiting for the right moment to strike. To this day, Michael lives in constant fear, knowing that somewhere in the shadows, the person from the shadow market is still out there, waiting for him to return to the dark web, to finish what they started.